That's a true fact. Good evening. Today we are going to be talking about the Leatherman. The Leatherman was the name given to a mysterious vagabond who wandered through the states of New York and Connecticut in the 1800s. No one knew his real name or identity, but he was called the Leatherman by the locals along his regular route due to the fact that he always wore a handmade suit of leather. He is thought to have been either French or French-Canadian due to the fact that he spoke broken English but was fluent in French, and he carried with him a French prayer book. From the year 1857 until his death in 1889, the Leatherman repeatedly walked a regular loop of 365 miles, which took him through parts of Connecticut and upstate New York. He'd always stop in the same towns along his route, which took about 34 days to complete. That's an average of about 10 3/4 of a mile each day. When he'd stop at a town, the Leatherman would stock up on food and supplies. No one knows where he got money, but he would buy things like bread, sardines, fancy crackers, pies, coffee, brandy, and beer. The people of the towns he visited got used to seeing him every 34 days, and they would often leave food out for him, which he would eat on their doorsteps. They became so fond of him that several of the towns even exempted him from the state's vagrancy laws. But he wasn't much of a talker. He'd usually just grunt or point when he needed to communicate, and whenever he was asked personal questions, he would quickly end the conversation. There is much speculation about his background. He is thought to have been Roman Catholic due to the fact that he declined meat on Fridays, and he was rumored to have come from Picardy, France. At night, the Leatherman usually slept in rock shelters. When the nights got cold, he would build a fire to heat the shelter. His leather suit provided good insulation from the cold weather and protected him from frostbite during the brutal winters. If the suit was damaged, he could easily replace the damaged section with a fresh piece of leather. In 1888, the Connecticut Humane Society had the Leatherman arrested and hospitalized, but he was deemed of sound mind and released according to his wishes. He died the following year in 1889 from cancer of the mouth, which was the result of tobacco use. His body was discovered in a cave. The Leatherman was buried, with a tombstone reading, "Final resting place of Jules Bourglet of Lyon, France, the Leatherman, who regularly walked a 365-mile route through Westchester and Connecticut from the Connecticut River to the Hudson, living in caves in the years 1858 to 1889. This supposed name, hometown, and place of birth were taken from contemporary accounts that were published in newspapers. But these accounts were later retracted, and even his death certificate lists his true identity as unknown. To this day, no one knows for sure who the Leatherman really was or where he came from. In 1998, the very popular rock and roll group Pearl Jam released a song called Leatherman, which is about the very same Leatherman that we're talking about right now. I can't play it for you here due to copyright concerns, but you can look it up on your own if you really want to. It's not very good at all. It's pretty bad. In 2011, the Leatherman's grave was exhumed for reburial at a new location, but no remains could be found. Only a few coffin nails. Spooky. Alright, that's it. Comment and subscribe.